glimpse somebody who's BKB'd now, and if the BKB wears out, they come back.
You will be able to roll up into your ult and consistently.
That is true. Yeah, that is correct.
Because you're right. The way that glimpse works, like, that makes the matchup so much different. Like, that was actually one of the biggest changes that people didn't really understand fully early on in the patch. That's why Disruptor was, I feel like this was the most picked support, like, right when this big patch came out. And it's tapered off a bit now, but it's still very strong in its own right. Okay, whose lineup do you like here, Mr. Jenkins?
I feel like LGD, if they go late game, it's like single core against Morphling. And yeah, I don't think that's losable. I don't think the Pango last pick is as much of like a gotcha as it could be. It's a good Pango game. Like, I think the reason they picked the Pango is they just wanted to double down on team fighting. Like, BetBoom does have a way stronger team fighting lineup, so they will have a timing. If they can get a little bit of a lead, they can transition it into just like controlling the entire map, because LGD won't be able to fight. But I think if this game goes late and it's even, I do believe that LGD has like the better core-to-core matchups in this game.
Yeah, I unfortunately do agree with you. Not because I'm not rooting for LGD or either team really, because I'm a caster, I'm very unbiased, but because I don't want to agree with you in general. But
makes sense.
We've seen enough of these freaking Morphling games, man, where if you don't have anti-mage, it's really hard. Void has been pretty good against him. We talked about, actually, Void would probably be the second best carry that we've seen. And then very small sample size, but Ursa, as I mentioned, they don't have any of those. Bloodseeker has not, I want to say, looked good at all against Morphling in the mid to late game. Pango's a decent pick, but like you said, I don't think it's a gotcha at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they're able to get to the late game from LGD's side, I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah. And what we saw at Dream League was LGD getting stomped by BetBoom in the laning phase. So
yeah,
looking at LGD to try to get through the lanes this game. To avoid that again.
Were you covering those games? Because I talked about how that was the one series that I didn't watch, because by the time because I cast the series before then, by the time I got back to the hotel, we went to eat at a restaurant, and as we're getting the bill, the series was already over.
Yeah, which of course you paid for with your Ability Arena money. I did cover those games.
I actually did pay for it.
On Double Edge Studios, a company card.
It was not on Double Edge Studios, though. No.
Okay. BetBoom go for a late smoke here, by the way. This is, we saw this in another game. Yeah. It did connect on a kill, but LGD not looking like they're going to run into this one. So a bit of a waste of a smoke.
Yep, a little bit. And the bounties will be split evenly between the two teams. But the reason I bring that up, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but, well, I kind of do. Do you remember anything from that series and why it was so one-sided? It was just the lanes. Like, do you remember any heroes being particularly good? Because going into that series, you're like, oh, this is going to be so epic. These teams have been, like, just incredible at the tournament. Like, they were clearly the two best teams at that time. Then it just wasn't a close series at all.
It was pretty much as BetBoom, like, picking to win lanes. I don't remember who he interviewed, but I think it was Quinn, actually. Like, he said that, yeah, Big Q. He said that BetBoom pretty much go down the list of Dota heroes, and they're like, okay, what will be the most annoying thing to lane against? And then they pick that. That's how they draft. Like, they don't care about synergies or late game or any of that bullshit. Like, basically, they're just like, okay, what's the most annoying shit in the laning phase? And we're going to be that. And so, I mean, that's how they beat LGD, was they just dumpster all three lanes, and LGD couldn't play Dota. I think LGD has decent lanes this game, but, you know, BetBoom, they did pick to win lanes, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see how much of an advantage they'll come out of the laning stage with, if any. I mean, Why You Smile killed 2 couriers while we were talking, so that's a pretty good start. I saw you get a rampage of couriers, actually. That was a pretty sick clip that barely got any upvotes, so congratulations on that. That's probably one of the only courier rampages that has ever happened in Dota's history.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Of course, that was stolen on the Dota Cinema channel. With me cropped out, as usual. Thank you for that. I've got a really great partner and Suns fan and supposed best friend.
That's how we treat you. That's how family members treat each other, you know? Well,
yeah, makes sense.
Storm against Pango mid. We've seen this time and time again. I mean, Pango just in general, not a particularly good laner. As last stop in the bot lane, why you smile? He's trying to walk away. One more right click does him in, though. Save gets the first blood on the techies, despite his courier dying. He will get some revenge.
Yeah, if there's one team that knows how to abuse a Spirit Breaker Morphling lane, it is going to be BetBoom, being the team that invented that lane. You can see why Techie's Tide is picked against Morph, like, and picked early when you don't know what you're laning up against, because like these two heroes just do so much poke that they really can't lose lane too much.
And early on, it's actually pretty even. GPK is doing a really nice job mid. I mean, I would say generally this hero against, even though it's a low ranged hero, against any ranged hero is going to be at a disadvantage. But nothing to say, only with a slight advantage right now. I think GPK is going to be super happy with that. You talk about how they're picking heroes that lane really well against each other. The Pango, maybe the exception. Or am I overstating this? Because I feel like this hero has not gotten better in laning, really. But is doing okay right now. As Mew will go down to the blood right in the top lane. So Nightfall getting a very valuable kill. And is going to have his phase boots here done pretty shortly.
No, I mean, I think with regards to the Pango, you're definitely right. I don't see this as a, like, sick hero to pick against Storm Spirit. I think it's just, like, GPK is very comfortable on it. It's good for the game and just doubling down on the team fighting. And also, GPK doesn't really lose lane in general, especially when he's playing a hero like Pango. Can Planet get the glimpse? He is in range
for it. GPK's already used all his spells, glimpsed into death. A nice gank, and this is a rare one before the 6-minute mark. So that's going to provide them some nice water runes as well. And nothing to say, we'll be able to bottle one of them. So nice advantage in the mid lane for LGD, which is definitely what they needed.
Yeah, it does sacrifice Shiro on the bottom lane, who was getting kind of owned while the rotation mid was happening. But top lane, Mew, he was farming in the tower, so leaving that lane, giving him solo XP. He's also very happy about that. Working towards his Vanguard, 500 gold away.
And pure on the tide, the Watermelon Man, Meteor Hammer seems to just be the item. I think that's just become an absolute standard. As top lane was a little action, but the glimpse is going to separate most of it. Mew, level 3 now. He does go for reactive armor. We've actually been seeing some variation on this build where you're getting a fast Vanguard on Timber, and you just opt to get 0 in reactive armor. We've been seeing, I mean, it depends on the player, and maybe it depends on the matchup as well. But Mew opting for at least one value level of that passive.
Yeah, I like a couple of points of it, just so that way you have the armor to play with. But one thing, like with Timber being a universal hero, people are building stat items, which means he has some base armor.
Go ahead. Just stop talking. Bottom lane, Pure is going to get bashed and brought down. They did, of course, get the kill on the top lane as well, along with another support. So across the board, 3 kills for LGD. I didn't just make that orgasm sound because you were talking, Jenkins. It was, of course, because of that and the kill.
I thought it was an aneurysm, so I'm okay that it was just an orgasm.
Are you watching the game?
I'm watching the game. Mew is getting gone on.
Yeah. On
the top lane. He's actually turning this around.
Yeah, he's got his 2 points in now.
Timber chain. Like you mentioned, Ooks as opposed to maxing out the reactive armor, which we saw for the longest time on Timber, the 114 build.
Yeah, I actually think if he wasn't against Bloodseeker, who can sustain in lane, maybe he goes for the build that we were seeing more at Dream League with the 0 passive. But I can't remember who was doing that. It was a couple different Timber saws, but again, like I said, it kind of depended on who it was, player preference to some degree. Unlike the Meteor Hammer build on Tidehunter, which seems to just be, like I said, literally everyone is picking now. You can't blame him. It has been insanely powerful in all the games that we've seen. Of course, 33 has been a big reason for that. Planet's going to get the glimpse here, so LGD will get their Wisdom Rune, save getting the other, so it is a split.
Tekis is so good at getting the Wisdom, because you can just hide in the trees and blast off a second before the rune spawns, and unless you're Rubik, who can like instantly interrupt the blast off, it's pretty free rune for that hero.
Yeah.
The rotation does come in top with nothing to say. They want Nightfall here.
They're smoked up.
They don't want Toronto Tokyo.
Yeah, they would definitely prefer Nightfall. Planet Smoke will pop. He's going to see both heroes. He gets the Thunderstrike onto the Lich, and that's who they'll have to go on. Actually brings them back into the kinetic field because it wasn't properly placed. Frost Shield's going to delay a lot of this damage, but eventually Nothing to Say does get the kill, and his killing spree continues. We talked about how BetBoom wanted to win the lanes. Well, I think LGD are pretty happy with the current state of affairs.
Yeah, very even. And I think the BetBoom side, of course, they picked to have stronger lanes. So, although with that being said, like that gank that we just saw, I think Toronto Tokyo is very happy that he's the one that went down instead of his Bloodseeker. Nightfall is farming perfectly fine up here. Has the Rupture now to work with too. He's pinging. I think they want to do. Yeah, they're gonna try and do.
Yeah, they want to go for him. Rupture is placed. New, maybe stuck inside the blood. Right. It's off the whirling. Huh? Is he actually going to be able to do anything here? Rupture's wearing off now, and he's just going to tank through everything. They just didn't have enough damage. Floss Blast is there now as well. TP is coming in from save to try to potentially cancel the TP, but he doesn't even have mana for it right now. Pops the wand. Timber Chain does dodge the blast off. Nicely done, as Pure apparently gets taken on the other side of the map. New now attempting to TP out. Fine.
Oh, that was so close.
Sinister Gaze not quite in range for Toronto Tokyo. Yeah, that's Go ahead, Jenkins, please.
Delay, man. It's the delay. It's because you're in Arizona. Good couple minutes from LGD. That is a lot of wasted time and Nothing to Say. It seems like everywhere he goes, he's getting a kill. He's very fat, top of net worth right now.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we want to see with any Storm Spirit. This hero can snowball like none other. And I mean, the fact that they were able to kill Pure, I mean, that is a hero that you don't see dying very often in the early game. But again, a lot.
No,
I'll say it again. A lot of the times we've been seeing it's just 33 playing and just never dying and never getting any kills either, and just farming for 30 minutes and then winning.
Yeah. I mean, if you looked at that lane as the Nightfall is pinging Neo up here again.
And if they want him,
I think they need a TP.
The charge coming in from the other side from YU Smile, though, but a swashbuckle from GPK into his Rolling Thunder. Bloodright will connect as well. YU Smile dies, and it looks like they'll get New as well. Actually gets the stun in the midst of the Timber Chain as well. Lots of efficient plays from GPK.
Bot lane, though, Nothing to Say, going up Pure again.
Yeah, he's going to get glimpsed back, but he's going to set up his own Ravage. Gets off the Meteor Hammer as well. Electric Vortex is there, and that's enough magic damage from Nothing to Say to punish the use of Ravage. So in the end, kind of wasted. And it shows you how many heroes they had to use to kill the Timbersaw, which means they didn't have anybody to help out in the bot lane.
Yeah, Pure's actually not having that great of a game, and you can see why people like traditionally would consider Morphling to be good against Tide in lane. The constant adaptive strike spam is what caused Pure to be so low HP, where Nothing to Say can keep rotating on him like this. And then also the Arcane Root from Nothing to Say. I mean, that makes it a lot easier to kill a Tide Hunter, because you just get so many damn zips. But the Overload gets him.
Maelstrom now online for Nightfall. Farm will amplify as a result. Shiro has the Morbid Mask for the sustain. Gonna be going for the Yasha. Nothing too crazy. And okay, this one a little, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but I would say this is more unusual. New is going for a quick Aghanim Scepter. Now, is there a way for them to dispel this? We'll talk about that in a moment. And that moment is now, Jenkins.
No, there is not. That's why he's building it first. I think Aghanim Scepter on Timber is very overpowered, other than the fact that you can dispel it. It's like, it's one of the best ags in the game. It's kind of cool. Like, I don't know if it was just they forgot to, you know, put in the variable that it shouldn't be able to be dispelled. You know, I don't know if it's that. But it's cool because it's so OP, but so easy to solve. I love it. So Nullifier is going to need to be a necessary purchase from BetBoom. But then on the flip side, New can build, you know, like a Lincoln Sphere to counter the counter. Not that he's going to do that, but even if you purge it, it does explode, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay. And I think you're right. I think they literally forgot. And they're like, oh, let's see how it plays out. And like, oh, okay, I guess it's kind of balanced. But we haven't been seeing as much of it because there are quite a bit of Dispel heroes. And you can pick that. I mean, considering that Timber's picked so early when it even gets through the banning stage, you can plan ahead. As we can see, Mr. Planet will die as the Diffusal Blade is being shown from GPK. Save gets the kill there. But yeah, if once this Axe comes online, I agree. It is very powerful if used correctly, but do they have enough ways to get away from the Timber or prevent him from being on top of them? Because it seems like, not that Timber's the easiest to kite. I mean, you do have Rupture and whatnot, I suppose. Kinetic Field to some degree. It's on their team. Never mind. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, though, right? There's nothing to say he's going to find a kill here by the gate.
I feel like even if they rupture him, he can probably just run through it. Like, I honestly think it's so good you can literally ignore rupture in fights. So I do expect a Nullifier to be coming out as probably on GPK, maybe Nightfall. It depends on who feels like they have like the slot for it. Like whichever one of them is just bigger will probably get it.
Right. I mean, I agree that I think he actually will go Lincoln's anyway. Like this is a good Lincoln's game in general. So going for
that is true.
After the fact is perfectly fine. It synergizes greatly with the Nullifier that will eventually come for Nightfall, which is probably the only hero that wants to ever go for it anyway.
And he's universal. Well, Lincoln's is good on universal heroes.
That's true. So is Manta. Will we see Manta on Timbersaw?
We saw it before he was universal. Amar the fucker would do that all the time.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. Nightfall looking for the Rupture on Why You Smile, showing that he's really committed to this, but the cow is faster. All with no thirst activation is going for the fast BKB, so that will likely mean they're going to want to start the fight, and that's going to line up with Pure's eventual pipe. And GPK keeping it pretty standard, going for the Aghanim Scepter, which will line up. Actually, he's probably going to get that before even getting the 15 talent, but that's when getting the axe actually will matter. Try to blast up on Nothing to Say. They're actually going to counter-initiate now. Static Storm, they bash him. GPK still inside and brought down. Save looks to be next, although Nightfall has come to play, getting off the Rupture onto New. Maybe not the best target. He's just going to casually TP out. The Ravage just clips him, though, on the outskirts. And eventually they do bring down the universal hero, Timbersaw.
I mean, good response from BetBoom, but that was some extremely high-level gameplay from LGD. Like, Nothing to Say jumping to techies there, just faking that he was going to go for the kill. Why You Smile? I think he's just being a bit of a bully here. But, like, he jumped in knowing that he was just forcing TPs. And then because they forced GPK to TP in, GPK wanted to go for the kill onto Storm because he was stuck there, right? And so LGD brought their supports in anticipation for somebody coming in and responding to the techies gank. Like that is just such 5-head gameplay. But then BetBoom just responds with everybody and, you know, they get a return kill. But still, from LGD, like that was nice. I know we keep talking about Dota fundamentals. That is a very good example of it right there. Beautiful stuff.
Gorgeous, some would say.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I wouldn't, but...
GPK actually changing his build. He's going to be going for a Blink Dagger instead after that death. Trying to get off his Rolling Thunder. He's going to get Nether Struck. But he will swashbuckle. It's kind of a baby swashbuckle. Going to get a glimpse, but he does get his ult off in time. There's no way for them to stop that. It's why you smile getting kited. Blast off is there into the swash. But the static storm onto 2 heroes from Planet. And here comes Shiro to try to finish the job. They're going to be able to get GPK very easily and save his next. Double kill for Shiro. Showing up to his first fight and getting rewarded. Gorgeous gameplay, some would say.
They could maybe go take a gorgeous Roche right now. They're top lane.
Yeah.
It's there for 3 more minutes.
He is looking quite gorgeous in that pit, ready for the pickings.
Oh, what a gorgeous shot.
That. A gorgeous camera angle.
That is 90 degrees right there, ladies and gentlemen. If this was the old Roche pit, it would be the full 360 degrees.
Yeah, just mention that every time. Very important.
It was a very good point that you raised, honestly.
Nothing to say is going to get... Wait. Okay, I thought that Morphling was going to take it there for a second. Yeah, Storm, Aegis. Best Aegis carrier in the game by far. And he's going to go for the BKB next.
That is the correct choice. Are they going to try to burst him?
He'll dodge the swash. Yeah, he's sticking around, going for the rule, but that Sinister Gaze, very fast reaction time. But the zips are there from nothing to say, but now he's out of mana. Gorgeous gameplay from BetBoom. And now they're going to try to take him out a second time. The blood right has to be perfectly timed. Ravage is there. They find him. Nothing to say. Completely waste the Aegis. And Planet's going to get cleaned up as well. My goodness. What caught him there? Was it this? Because they got the Sinister Gaze initially. Was it up again?
I am not sure. Because you would think that he would just instant zip, right? I mean, it must have been the Sinister Gaze. Because the Ravage didn't come out. Unless it was a perfectly timed Blood Right, which would be... That would be incredibly impressive. I mean, how long are you dead for when your Aegis respawning?
That's a good question. Shiro be able to get out here. GPK already used Rolling Thunder. Do a nice job of moving to the other side. He's going to drain a lot of mana with their Swashbuckle, and Shiro's going to be brought down. That's 2 huge kills for BetBoom. LGD getting punished so hard for this. So despite getting that Aegis, BetBoom not afraid to fight.
And they're going to TP away because all of LGD has responded to this. BetBoom is playing this really well. The fact that they're willing to take these pickoffs into Aegis, I'm not even sure if the zip is that important. They have no detection for him.
That's saved. Delaying things
Eventually
with the reactive taser. Actually gets a really good blast off. Unfortunately for him, nobody's really nearby. Either way, that's still really good for BetBoom. They get rid of the... I mean, when's the last time you look at the Aegis timer? We won't know for 5 minutes and 40 seconds, and there's no Aegis right now. That was such a fast death.
I mean, it's obviously a mistake from nothing to say to push the mid lane like that, but I can see why he felt safe doing that. Like, you have the Aegis. You'd think that it was kind of a bluff. Like, he's bluffing that there are people behind him, that LGD could respond quickly. And by the way, they did smoke up on LGD, but they stepped on a mine, so GPK pings them out. He knows that they're there, or he should. I mean, he's the one who pinged.
Yeah, he is greedy, though. Pure, he's going to be the one that gets initiated on inside that static storm. We talked about this. They need to be able to burst them down as fast as they can. They do. He didn't have Ravage anyway, I suppose, so was going to die regardless. Another 10 seconds for that spell to come up. And LGD gaining back their lead. I mean, it's not that big of one. And now they're going to focus down this tier 2 tower.
Man, everybody that goes to push out the mid wave just dies in this game. Very dangerous. Like, both lineups have great ways of jumping and picking you off if you go mid. And also, both lineups want to hang around mid, too, because there's a Storm on one side who wants to pick up the runes and a Pango on the other. Both heroes are very effective with the bottle and getting runes.
This is what we were expecting in that upper bracket finals at Dream League. Very even gameplay.
Yeah,
back and
I would
forth,
say so.
Very high level play. Even though some mistakes were made, it's all about capitalizing on those mistakes to begin with. Otherwise, it's not a mistake, Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, they're like high level mistakes though, because, you know, a hero going mid with Aegis is a lot of the time you don't want to go on that guy. So like making the choice to, yeah, we can kill this dude twice because we can, sinister gaze him on the second life. That's a tough choice to make. Nude, by the way, does have his Aghanim Scepter completed on Timbersaw. So we'll see that in the next fight.
All right. Reactive armor explosion. Gives him that shield. I mean, it makes sense that the shield portion is dispellable, right? But not that it will end the spell itself. You know what I mean? Because they made it so like all these barriers are dispellable. Maybe there's an exception somewhere. Either way, kind of strange. As Planet will get his shard, one of them. And I actually think this might be one of the reasons this hero has seen less play, and I'm probably just talking out of my ass. But he has a bit of an
the shard sucks.
Shard, but there's like when there's an Undying available, the shard, you take that every time.
Yeah, I mean, there are some very useful shards. Like, on the other side, I feel like Techies, who is about to die right now, is going to be the first to get gone on.
A lot of burst. Chainfrost comes out. You can see Mew pops the reactive armor. Shiro getting pretty low, but able to get off his BKB and the attribute shift. And GPK trying to find the stun onto Shiro. He gets enough damage. Doesn't need to stun him at all. Double kill for GPK. They kill off the Timbersaw. Now, Why You Smile is next. They've only lost Save and BetBoom. It's like every fight so far since that Aegis was taken on the side of LGD has gone the way of BetBoom.
What just happened? How did that fight go so badly for LGD? They had their double EKB. I mean, I feel like that's a good timing. They had the reactive armor Aghanim Scepter from Timber. Can you just not go on this Techies first? Is that it? I mean, I guess that's the thing. Is like if LGD can get the jump on GPK, I feel like that's gonna neuter a lot of BetBoom's team fighting ability. And also, Pure was very patient with the Ravage in that fight. He blinked in, forcing LGD to use both of their BKBs immediately, and just didn't Ravage. It was just a bluff.
Yeah, they will take out the Techies. I mean, perhaps they didn't realize how much damage GPK had, because I think that was the Aghanim Scepter reveal, and he did have the 15 talent, so 3-second shield crash. Shiro didn't seem to want to waveform away, thought he could just tank through it with the BKB and the attribute shifts. But yeah, GPK's damage is absurd if he's able to find a good angle on the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah. Yep. That is true. I mean, BetBoom has the better lineup at fighting in these enclosed areas. Ravage, Chain Frost, Rolling Thunder. Hell, even the Bloodright and the Techies mines. Like, they really want to fight in these tiny little areas. Are they going to farm their own Tormentor?
I would think so.
Okay.
The Lich one is very good.
Yep.
The Techies one is okay.
I love the Techies one. I think they're both very good.
I think maybe the reason I don't think the Techies one is incredibly good is because it's hard for me to notice it when I'm casting. I'm trying to keep track of everything else, but when I see
the guy that gets tasered,
that's huge.
I mean, the Ice Fire is actually huge because you can bounce the Chain Frost off on it. It gives you like solo kill potential, even. But the reactive taser giving 30% move speed to your carry, especially Bloodseeker, who can go past the move speed cap, is just wild. And then on top of that,
that's true.
It means that in the 1v1 of the Bloodseeker versus the Morph, the Bloodseeker will win unless the Morph presses BKB, because he's going to get chain disarmed. I do think it's good. I mean, he'll eventually get it.
Yeah, that's a good
Still
point.
Dead even.
What's that?
It's still dead even, 15 to 14. This is
yeah, this is a really good game. Aghanim Scepter almost there for Nightfall. He's going for that Blood Mist. Okay, to try to go on Mew. Pure faking out the Ravage. He might have to use it here. Oh, Blast Off cancels the TP. There's the reactive armor. And was that just a Yule's Dispel? So we talked about the Nullifier, but it's the Yule's that will completely counter the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, honestly, in retrospect, the Yules makes a lot of sense. He's playing into Spirit Breaker as well, where you want to take off the bulldoze. That's like a classic Spirit Breaker counter. It's a good Yules game. It also protects you against the Disruptor spells, the Storm Jump. Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like it is. You're right. It's good for multiple reasons. I think you buy it anyway, though, right? It's so cheap. You're basically getting a net worth boost of 2K, right? Because you're buying something that's like 2K, counteracting something that's 42.
Yeah, that makes sense. It does. I totally forgot that's even an item. Nobody, like, very few people build Yules these days.
I mean, it has fallen off greatly. And this will be the second Roche, this time going the way of BetBoom. Aegis and Cheese. Aegis for Mr. Nightfall. And Cheese on the Fat Watermelon Man. And he's going for Sheep Stick on Pure. This is another item that we've seen quite a bit on these Tide Hunters.
They're all TPing bot, man. Wants to kick LGD out of this area. The Wisdom Rune's about to spawn, so they might think LGD will stick around for it.
I think the Say showing himself as the Morphling Ags is now online, so this is where Nightfall might, I don't know, like in fights it feels like he is going to be targeted consistently just for the extra attribute swing.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about Bloodseeker is that he is going to be doing damage with Blood Mist. He's going for the Shard. That's going to be pure damage. He's got Mjolnir, so those procs are not going to be affected as Nightfall or GPK does find Planet. So Bloodseeker's not exactly the best hero to turn into. Because he does do mixed damage. It's not just physical damage based on his stats.
Okay, I'm going to say something, though, that I think will make the difference in this game. Because it is very even. So I'm looking for things that will be tipping points. Is Why You Smile showing himself. And another Yules to counteract the Bulldoze. Looks like he's going to die for this. I don't know why he went down there to begin with, but he did. I think the supports for LGD, they're being very greedy. If they can get these items that they're working for, or working towards, I think that might tip the balance. So, talking about the Aghanim Scepter on both Spirit Breaker and Disruptor. Planet, wait, did he change his mind, or did he actually finish it? He's going for Aether Lens now, even though he has the point booster. So, changing his mind, it looks like. Interesting.
He's thinking about it.
And Spirit Breaker changes his mind, he's going BKB with the Ogre Axe. Okay. Getting excited there, and they changed their mind, sadly.
I think for Spirit Breaker, the Aghanim Scepter, or sorry, the BKB is the more defensive option and lets him go into the fights. He can pop Planar Pocket, tank the Rupture, and he's not going to die, and he can make a lot of space. I do, however, feel like Planet really wants to get this Aghanim Scepter at some point, but he's got the Mana Boots disassemble, so I guess he's close enough to the Aether Lens. He feels like he can get it as well as the Aghanim Scepter by the point that it matters, because he is walking around with the trusty shovel, digging up kobolds. He's being very greedy.
Yeah, getting full efficient value out of the shovel. Okay, he sent it back to base. Sick and tired of that, using that item. Too much brain power is needed to remember to use it off cooldown. Nothing to say. Is gonna get ganked here. Will he have enough time to get away? What's their opener exact? Oh my god, he zips away. Going for the TP, but that's a little ambitious. I think he could have gone a little bit farther with the zip, and he's gonna get destroyed. I think he might have zipped there before he saw anybody, and that's why he just procced the TP right away.
Yeah, maybe. Because, yeah, I agree. I mean, he had more than 50% mana left, so he definitely could have continued zipping. As immediately goes off.
GPK using that Blink Dagger with the Rolling Thunder, the roll-up as well. As he misses the Timber Chain, and now he's just left to die. So 2 huge kills for BetBoom. They force the BKB out of Shiro. With that, BetBoom will likely just try to push this. They still have Aegis for a minute.
And they didn't use Ravage, so they've got their most important cooldown still available. At the very least, they're going to get a lot of map control out of this, and Toronto Tokyo has a gem. So while this is all happening, he's been walking around and dewarding, and at the very least, they know that there's not wards in these different areas of the map that he's been walking around.
Well, it'll be a slowish push as they kind of separate into two different lanes, but finally they get this tier 2 top. Not able to really force anything out. Of course, we can see that there's no buybacks from LGD, but BetBoom certainly do not know this. Oh my god, no way they get him again! Nothing to say, he's gonna get ravaged, blasted, and dead for 75 again, and no buyback! Oh my god. Complete disaster for LGD, and BetBoom just all over this Storm Spirit. GPK going in pretty deep, able to find a distance though. As the Meteor Hammer push continues. Fortification still available though, and of course they don't know that Storm doesn't have buyback, so you can expect BetBoom to play this somewhat passively. Charging from While You Smile, able to disengage. They have a lot of spam to try to defend this, and Nightfall forced to use his BKB. Rolling Thunder is there. They're going in pretty deep. He gets the stun up onto the Morphle. He's getting really sure has to pop his BKB. Will be able to get on all likelihood as they take out the Bloodseeker. And the reactive armor about to explode. Not going to be able to find anybody really. Pierre takes a little bit of the damage, pops the cheese shortly after. Will be able to get away. As Why You Smile, taken out by the swash of GPK. Trying to dodge out this Timber Chain as the Timber Saw completely out of mana and gets swashed into death. That's a buyback coming in from the Spirit Breaker. GPK getting pretty low. He's going to get taken out now by LGD. Going to be a heavy investment here. It's Toronto Tokyo. He's going to get spotted. He has the gems. So this is actually a pretty big pickup. The glimpse is there. And Shiro using the swashbuckle of his counterpart. So LGD get the gem. They do defend. It costs them a buyback. Pretty crazy fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked that that didn't go worse for LGD. Just really nice base defense from them. Immediately losing Nothing to Say there was quite disastrous. Not only did they lose him, he had just been given a gem. So he lost the gem, which is, you know, a lot of gold swing. And then the cooldown, more importantly. And when you're playing against a gem, like, you need one to also deward your own area of the map. Otherwise, you just lose map control. So that could have gone so much worse. Like, that legitimately could have been the game. BetBoom could have won right there. But amazing defense. Just really good team fighting from LGD in that fight. And the buyback from Why You Smile was very important. Charging in and then getting the instant bash. Very lucky, but very important onto GPK.
And now Nothing to Say is, I mean, just a second ago, he was top net worth. But the fact that he's top net worth even on his team is shocking to me. It felt like he's died 3 times in a row with 0 impact on the fight. But still having a really good game, apparently. I mean, he does have 11 kills, so it's not like he's been feeding horribly, but it feels like his deaths have been so impactful. They're still able to defend somehow.
Yeah, the 11 kills definitely helps. It's got a DD as well, so I could see LGD being in a fighting mood right now. Do they have a smoke? Yes, they do. They're going to use it, I believe. Just kidding. Planet moved to smoke into the inventory, and he's not using it just yet.
Waiting for the Ancients to be taken out, I'm sure. And
goddamn core players.
Yeah, you just got to wait. So he is going for Aghanim Scepter now on Planet, and he's not that far away, 1,500. They're going to go straight into the jungle of BetBoom.
Am I crazy?
Pure.
Didn't they just do that on...
They do have Ravage available as the Zip is there. Instant Hex. Now goes for the Ravage, goes for the Tentacle to fight himself with a big BKB from Nothing to Say. Finally gets it off in time, but he's taking a lot of damage. Has to zip away now. And Save is the one that's taking most of the damage here. Why You Smile with a huge charge with the BKB activated now. Toronto Tokyo gonna shield himself, is not taking much damage as a result. Shiro basically in a 1v4 situation will just have to BKB teleport. You can see Mew actually bought back into the game. So another lost fight for LGD. Does cost a buyback from both sides, but the Timber is the bigger of the 2 buybacks.
Can you confirm something for me? Look at the Radiant Triangle. That is a Dire Watcher, right? This is not bugged?
Yes, that's a Dire Watcher.
The Radiant Triangle. That's the Dire Triangle.
Yes.
Yeah, but the observer's looking at the Dire Triangle.
Oh, I'm looking at the other one, but it is Dire.
That's a dire watcher, right? So they smoked on vision.
That's
why BetBoom was prepared for that. They literally smoked on vision, and they know they smoked on vision, unless this is bugged. And because I know they changed the color of the watcher depending on
more
what team you're on.
Surely. Why would it ever be red for us then? It was always. I don't know. Red is always dire. For
yeah, it could be a bug. I'm just saying it could be a bug because I don't see how LGD could smoke on a watcher that they see is taken and then not expect BetBoom to be prepared for it.
I mean, look at the other watcher with the ward right on top of it on the jungle on the top side. Roach is being taken out. They scan it out. They know this is happening, but it's going to be too late. Refresher Shard, Aegis, and Cheese the way of BetBoom. And Pure gonna be greedy and take both the Cheese. GPK actually rolling on in, has the Shivas. And they know that he has used this spell. He's going to TP out in the midst of things, so that means a full disengage from BetBoom, which means LGD should be trying to fight right now. They're going to go in. They're going to Hex Pure to start things out. Kraken Shell activates, though. Static Storm glimpses back into it, trying to TP out, but the Adaptive Strike is enough to cancel the TP and get the kill. So I feel like GPK got him killed in some respect there by using that ult and getting out. But either way, BetBoom get a lot.
Yeah, he was very convinced that all of LGD was going to be there, which I think was a pretty good read. Like, they were, you know, smoking to the area. They just were not quite there yet.
I mean, you can see the Watcher by the Tormentor is red. So, I think you're right. As Save will finally get his shard. So that Watcher is still a dire Watcher right now. That is actually such a blunder. That's insane that that happened.
I want to watch LGD get a Watcher. I gotta watch that because they might all appear to be red to us because maybe we're considered to be the neutral team as observers.
Okay. Keep an eye
So they
on
might
that.
all be red to us. Can you see any
non-red?
Yes.
No.
Like, are there any blue Watchers? Come on, New. Go for it, buddy. Go for the Watcher.
No, they're taking over the one that they smoked over just now. Shiro in the triangle. He just made it a neutral one now.
Okay. It's neutral now. Okay, so we could... It's confirmed. It's confirmed.
Oh, my... That is... Wow. That is mind-boggling. Good catch, though, Jenkins. That's...
not good.
I definitely missed that one. Now a smoke from BetBoom, knowing that their Watcher is no longer there, so they
want to go reclaim
the
it.
Enemy triangle. Why Smile is spotted. Pierre's gonna jump in. Why Smile's pretty freaking fast. And GPK again using the Rolling Thunder. It has the Octarine, of course, so in fact he is so farmed. My God. Blink Ags, Diffusal, Octarine, Shivas. We'll see if he goes for Disperser at some point. Is there anything that he would want to dispel on himself? Thunder Strike.
Wait,
whatever.
dude. Okay. Look at the bottom right Watcher on the map.
Bottom right Watcher?
I see vision there.
Yeah,
I see it on my screen. The observer doesn't see it. What the hell's going on with these?
Yeah, I see vision there
I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't really change the fact that it was red.
Maybe we see the neutral ones because we're a neutral party.
But either
we're not biased.
Yeah,
whatever.
Beta.
Who gives a shit?
Something beta. Aghanim Scepter now online for Planet. The muting of items has now become a thing.
Oh, and he has a ninja gear. That is really good for getting those big static storms off without getting caught.
He'd love to get a blink, no doubt, but I would assume that's his next item, actually. Is the tier 2 tower taken out by BetBoom now? Still with the Aegis for another minute and a half. They have a second sheep stick, by the way, so Pure has one. Well, he has a double one, technically, with a Fresher Shard, but now Save, usually the poorest hero on the map for BetBoom. Actually, that's not true. Toronto Tokyo is the 5. Either way, he's very farmed, has a Scythe of Vice as well.
I was gonna say, man, you really hate Save, huh? Like, he's always so poor.
It's just so hard to remember that Toronto Tokyo somehow is position 5.
I know. It is Yeah. He did win TI as a mid, after all.
I mean, that's got to be the most drastic and, like, quick transition. Like, I know No Tail has made that transition before, the 1 to the 5. Or maybe it was 1 to the 4 at first, I can't remember. But Toronto Tokyo definitely doing quite well. It's taken a while to get it acclimated, understandably so. But BetBoom, definitely a tier 1 team right now.
Yeah, he looks great as 5. He looks very comfortable. I mean, he has his few heroes. Like, his hero pool's not huge by any means on 5, but he is really, really good at the ones that he plays.
Smoke on the enemy side of the jungle here from LGD. As now I'm just so interested to see a Watcher being taken over. See if nothing to say. He's taking one over in the triangle. It does turn red! What the hell?
Oh no.
We talked about that for so long.
Oh no, I knew it.
Turn red.
God damn it.
All right, so now we can assume that they did not smoke.
It was for sure their Watcher. Cause it just makes no sense for LGD to do that. It's LGD.
It makes no sense that it's fucking red. What do you mean?
No, I know.
So
I know. Listen, man.
I was told there'd be a Watcher.
I don't know. I can't.
Let's go.
I can't justify it.
That's good stuff. Well, Planet making use of the Thunder Strike can be used on the ground. I've never actually seen anyone use it before. Although it would be really good in the pit for vision. As we can see,
very
Roche
useful.
Cannot be up for the next 2 minutes, but BetBoom seemed to think that it can be. At least they're getting ready for the eventual Roche-off, because... Well, actually, the Roche-off's going to be top. It's a minute and a half away from nighttime. Why you smile? 2 smokes broken. GPK knows someone's there. Will blink away.
Man, what a standoff. Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't know why they're standing. What is this? Roche cannot be up. Possibly. Maybe everybody forgot to take the timer.
No, I think they just have the items that they feel like they need to fight, and they don't want to get caught out. I mean, that whole time LGD was grouped up as 5, so it's not like LGD was showing anywhere, right? So they were very afraid and just wanted to be as 5. That's why that looked really weird. It's because both teams weren't showing, so both teams didn't want to show. They do run into each other.
Yeah, this is the actual Roche-off now. Both teams knowing that nighttime is approaching, and that's when Roche can possibly spawn. But still 30 seconds away from knowing when that actually is. So from the side of LGD, Shiro has Satanic to go along with Silver Edge, SNY. Interesting. We have been seeing more SNYs lately, as opposed to the Manta. Is it because they have really good illusion clear, or he just wants extra status resist this game against the stuns?
I would say status resist. Like that's the big way that you can deal with rupture, is just make it last, 20% less. Tidehunter as well. GPK, he's going to be rolling through with Rolling Thunder. It's a great Sanjin Yasha game, as they are smoking right into LGD here.
Yep, sure. It's going to get popped. Pops his BKB. That means nothing to say. Will pop his own, but they're getting that stunned onto New, and he gets dropped immediately. Shiro turns into Pango temporarily. They do have buyback onto New, and we can see that Roche is not up for a minute and a half, but he's going to expend it anyway. They're going to get the glimpse off onto Pure. That's another BKB. He's going to get the Ravage off now. Uses that Refresher Shard. And now they're going to take out the Storm Spirit, who buys back instantly. Shiro kind of left alone, but the rest of BetBoom trying to retreat for the time being. Mew has shown up now with his ult. Gets off the reactive armor as well, but that's a double kill for Nightfall as the North Lane dies with no buyback available. Mew, he explodes for a little bit of damage, not really much to write home about. And now they're stun locking, nothing to say. The blast off is there. A dieback onto basically everybody from LGD. And BetBoom winning this fight handily. Triple kill for Nightfall. And now that they know there's 2 diebacks, they can just push to their heart's content.
Pure set all of that up with his Lincoln BKB. Did he use the first Ravage? Am I crazy? Was that 2 Ravages? Or did he just refresh the BKB?
I think he may have just used it for the BKB. I think it was only 1 Ravage. I could be wrong, though, as they will find the Disruptor as well. So only 1 member of LGD here to defend, and it's mostly just trying to cut the creeps, but that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, I mean, in any case, Pure with the double initiate, like both of his initiations were super on point, forcing the BKBs out of LGD and not expending the Ravage, and then following up with like the Sheep Stick. By the way, he has a Desolator. They're gonna go straight Throne here.
Yep, they sure are, and I can't blame them. This game is definitely over. No fortification to come. As he's trying to pick out some creeps to delay, but he gets lifted in the air by the Yules. One of the best Yules purchases we've seen. So much value as BetBoom will take game number 1. This was super exciting, though. That's probably the best game we've cast, I want to say. Maybe not.
Yeah, that was I mean, I think, I mean, maybe now it's just because it was unexpected, but like that was just a really solid game of Dota. Like there's so much happening on both ends from both teams. It's almost like too much to take in, where the teams are like both 5-heading each other. Like the one play that I want to go back to that was really nice was like Nothing to Say zipping in bot on the techies, forcing the TP. GPK comes in, and then LGD was already set up there on their supports, knowing that the TP would be forced, but then BetBoom, in anticipating that, they also show up with their entire team. It's like there's just layers upon layers upon layers of mind games going on between these two teams, and it's fucking beautiful. Like I love watching this level of Dota. It's the sort of thing that makes me realize I'm never going to be a good Dota player. These guys are just way too smart when it comes to this game, dude.